Hi, welcome to my channel Mostly Knitting. I'm Tosh and it is Thursday the 1st of June 2023. So it's the first day of winter, quite a lovely mild day here in Sydney, Australia. So this is a channel where I talk mostly about the knitting that I've been doing during the week, and if I've done any other crafting I put that towards the end after the knitting, although I haven't this week. So I show my finished objects, any works in progress, and I talk a little bit about any purchases or plans that I have upcoming. And then at the end I do a little bit of a wrap up of my week and what's coming up in my life. Right, so I start with finished objects, and I went to look for my one finished object, and I think my daughter's taken it. So I finished the beanie for her, the black beanie out of the myak yarn and the Rowan Kidsilk Haze. So I'll put a photo up there so I can at least show you a picture. I'll get a photo of that later today. And so I used Rowan Kidsilk Haze in the black colourway is Wicked. So actually I do have the yarn, the leftover yarn. That's Wicked, and I don't know that colourway, and I'm just guessing that it's myak yarn. And it used 14 grams of each, and so the beanie weighs 28 grams. So it's nice and light, and I'm hoping it fits her. So yes, anyway, she took it, so I'm assuming it must fit her. So yeah, so that's my only new finished object for this week. And so I'm going to get into my whips. So I might actually just change so I can try on some of my whips, and then, so yeah, give me one sec. So I should say with that beanie, I cast on 104 stitches on a 3mm needle. I worked for 8 rows in a half twisted rib, and then I knit until on a 3.5mm needle until I had 5 3/4 inches, and then I started the decreases just in groups of 8 until I got down to 40 stitches. I decreased every other row until I got to 40 stitches, and then from there I decreased every row until I got to 8 stitches, and then you know, put the needle through the center and or through the 8 live stitches and cinched it up. So that beanie's done. It was a very quick knit. And so now my new work in progress is the Felix Pullover by Christoffers. And I'm going to try not do too much clanking. I do have 4 needles because it's actually moving pretty quickly because it's quite bulky. So I'll just show you the yarn. Actually, I'll put it on first. Let me see which is the front. So it has some short rows. I haven't marked the front, but yes, that looks like the front there. Okay. And so yeah, it's moving really quickly. I am almost finished the yoke increases. You can't see them very well because it's over my skin, but it's got some really lovely eyelet detail. So when I try it on, you know, when it's finished, I'll have like a white shirt on, and you'll be able to see the eyelets down here. So I used a 3.75mm needle and did a tubular cast on, and the way I do that is with a crochet cast on with some waste yarn, and then do you know, I've got all the details on my project page if you want to hear all the details, but it's, yeah, 3.75mm of tubular cast on, and the setup, double knitting setup rows. Then I switched to a 5mm needle for the rest of the ribbing, and then 6mm for the body of the sweater. So I'm using Sundara Aran Silky Merino in the colorway Somewhere Out There, and Rowan Kidsilk Haze in, I think that's Rowan Kidsilk Haze. Let me have a look. No, sorry, Knit Picks Aloft in Labyrinth. So I actually pinched some of this off. Mia started a scarf, but it wasn't a good combo. Like, I was trying to help her pick, but the needles were too small. It was going to take forever, and it wasn't looking great. So she was quite, and I think she started it over a year ago and maybe got this much. So I said I'd go shopping with her for some, or we could do some online shopping for some really nice. Actually, anyway, I'll talk about that later when in plans, because I think she would like to make a nice big chunky scarf, and it is winter here, and it'd be good if she could make one quickly. So anyway, I might do some online yarn shopping for her. Yeah, so those two together, I really like how they're playing. So you get sort of a mild effect, but it's not too, I don't think it's too crazy. Anyway, yeah, I'm really liking it. So, and it's moving very quickly on 6mm needles. So that's my first work in progress. Let me see, is there anything else I wanted to mention? No, I think that's it. The second one is Exploration Station, and gosh, I've got to say I'm I'm really second guessing my colors. So I'll put a picture up here of where I started with what I think was antique lace, and it just looked a bit dirty. And then I put well water instead, and I've only just started the Antler, but I'm just not sure. I mean, maybe I just haven't done enough of it yet, like, and as I progress, you know, and it's more than just, you know, like 10 centimeters, I might be a bit happier with it. I just wasn't so sure about the well water. But yeah, interested to hear what other people think. I'll do a little bit more. It's not the nicest to rip back, because ripping back to this this section here, you've got all these double yarn overs and knit one, purl one into the double yarn over. So I pretty much had to rip right back and sort of rip all of that. I mean, it's not a lot of knitting, but it was not easy. And then of course you've got the I-cord edging as well, which is a bit fiddly when you're ripping back. So yeah, I just expected to be more excited about it. The other thing that I'm a little uncertain about is the Skein yarn, the Classy, is doesn't sort of have the sort of slight fluffiness that the Tosh Merino Light does. So the navy is Skein Classy in the navy, and then this is Tosh Merino Light, Neon Peach, Well Water, and Antler. And so I'll just put the two yarns up here. I don't know if you can sort of see, but there's a bit more fluffiness to the Tosh Merino Light, whereas the Skein Classy is quite thin, just that little bit thinner. So it's okay. I'll put that up nice and close so you can see. I guess it's okay. Just those eyelets are very big, but I guess that's okay. It's a shawl. Yeah, I guess maybe the color's growing on me. Anyway, thinking about it, I'm not ripping back. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more of it, and I reckon I'll probably like it. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what other people think. So that's Exploration Station. I did do a video of the cast on. I just haven't, I wanted to get a bit more of the Antler to take a picture to put as the thumbnail. So that will be coming up soon. My next work in progress is Ranunculus. Is still a work in progress, but there's a reason. So this is almost done. You can see that I'm on this is the sleeves. It will definitely be done for next week, for sure. So I'm not, will I try it on? Maybe we'll try it on, it's almost done. I think I can get it on around this needle. So, ooh, sorry. Let me see. Just don't wanna knock the stitches off the needles. Yeah, I think that's okay. I do have point protectors somewhere. Anyway, I'll just be very gentle, very, very gentle. There we go, okay. All right, so this is Ranunculus. This is my second one, and it is in Julie Asselin Anatolia in the colorway Clementine. And all I've got to go is I've done actually I haven't done the decreases. I've moved onto a 5mm needle. I have to do one row of decreases, then the I-cord bind off, and then all of the, you know, weaving in and joining the two ends of the I-cord. So the reason I haven't done this is, I've got bits all over me, is I wanted to do a video, right? So I want to record doing the decreases in the I-cord, and then record sort of, you know, attaching the two ends of the I-cord together. And if I think any of the weaving ends is worth recording, I'll do that too. So, and I just have it's been a busy week, so I haven't done that. So I got here pretty quickly. I think I got here Thursday night, and it's just sat because I haven't had a chance to record. What I will do though is I will just quickly weigh the yarn that I've got left, because I'm almost finished, right? So the yarn that I have left, because I had 100 grams and to start with, because I had 4 25-gram skeins. I just love this color so much. I've got 16.7 grams left. So I reckon I'm going to use this will be an 85 grams, that's crazy. That's so light. Anyway, 85 gram top, and it's beautiful and warm, and I love it, and I am definitely going to finish it this week, you know, without doubt. Now I'm just going to try and get this off really, really carefully. Oh. Okay, yep, I can do this. Just don't want to lose stitches here. Okay, so that's Ranunculus, and what have I got left? Two sort of three. So this is the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague, and this is Tosh Merino Light in same colours as the Exploration Station, Neon Peach, and then Antler, and I've made some good progress on that. Yeah, so happy with how that's coming along. I think that's going to look really nice with one folded over against the other. I hope so. Right, and the last one is, well, second to last maybe, is the sport weight socks, gusset heel socks, and I'm actually up to the gusset heel increases. So this is on a 2.75mm needle, Skein sport yarn in the colorway Eventide, and because I'm up to the gusset increases, it's, you know, I'm pretty much almost there. Oh, I forgot to mention the Musselburgh hat is on a 3.25mm needle, which I usually do for fingering weight yarn. So the only other thing that is still on the needles but hasn't had a decision yet is the Cumulus tea. So just in case you haven't seen my last episode, I tried this on and it's just way too big. And I've got some ideas. People have given me some suggestions, and I think I can do like, I think Karen mentioned that when with the I-cord, because she's made a few of these, it will bring it in a bit, but it probably won't. I don't know if it would bring it in enough for a top, but it might just be for like a light flowy top. So I'm definitely going to do that. So at the very least, I'm going to do, but it is still quite oversized, but that's okay. I don't mind positive ease. Like, I'm definitely moving. I just tend to not have as much positive ease in my tops. So like in my sweaters, I'm really enjoying positive ease. But in my tops and my dresses, I generally have, you know, either negative ease or no ease at all. So anyway, I think but obviously anyway, I'm still thinking about it. It might actually suit and fit Beck. So I thought at the very least I can do the I-cord and sort of see how that looks and how it works. And when I see her in July, maybe she can try it on. Like, if it still doesn't work for me, she can try it on and see if she likes the color and if it fits her a bit better than me. So yeah, so anyway, that's the Cumulus tea by PetiteKnit. I'm knitting that on a 3mm needle using this recommended yarn, which is the Knitting for Olive, it's 100% silk, pure silk, something like that, in the colorway Ballerina. And my gauge on my swatch was 27 stitches over 4 inches. The pattern gauge is 28, but after blocking, and I blocked my swatch, but you know, my swatch was like this big. So yeah, it's come out to more like 24 stitches. So yes, so it's definitely a lot bigger than anticipated, and it's coming out at about 40 inches, so quite a lot of positive ease there. So even if I bring in the neckline, I still have a lot of positive ease in the body. So still, it's being not completely parked. I'll do the I-cord and then I'll have another think after that. Right, so they're my six works in progress. Now I'm up to faux from the vault. So I'll pause and just put the faux back on. Right, so this faux from the vault is Once and Floral by Maxim Cyr. I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce his last name, C-Y-R. So if anybody else knows, I'm happy to be corrected on pronunciation, C-Y-R. I don't know if that's a hard C or a soft C, so I'll just say Cyr. So this pattern is actually, as you can see in the picture, meant to be a sweater, but I turned it into a top. I just thought it would look really pretty as a top. It has a lot of color work, and it has some really long stretches of color work, and some 3-color rows. So I ended up doing duplicate stitch here, and it's okay. You can definitely tell it's a little bit thicker. It's not completely fantastic, but it's okay. I'm happy enough with it, and I do like wearing it. I think it's quite, it's quite bright and pretty. So the yarn, the pink, so it's Tosh Merino Light. The pink is Coquette de 2, Coquette 2. And then this is Tosh Merino Light in the colorway Hepburn. And then this is similar to Tosh Merino Light, but it is, it's a yarn dye that's, she's not dyeing anymore, Kindred Yarn and Design Merino Fingering Single. So basically like it's a fingering weight single ply yarn, very similar to Tosh Merino Light in the colorway Hadley. And yeah, I really like this color. I think it's a really pretty blue aquary color. So let me see, what else did I do differently? Because it was meant to be a sweater, it actually had a, you cast on here and then you knit down and then you picked up the cast on stitches and did a fold over collar, and I just thought that would be too much bulk for a top. So I did a provisional, and I also didn't want a seam there where I was picking up stitches, so I did a provisional cast on 120 stitches, worked down the rest of the pattern exactly as is, but then just did some short sleeves. And then I unpicked the provisional cast on and knit up, did some short rows in the back, and then I just did a 1x1 rib for the neckline. Yeah, so I think it's quite a pretty, I've made it quite cropped, so it's not something like, if I couldn't wear that teaching, not that I don't really write on a board that much, but every now and then I do. I use a computer and write on OneNote, and that gets projected up onto the screen, but every now and then I do write on the board, and that would be a bit problematic for me. It just, I suppose I could have a tank underneath it, that would be okay. Yeah, that's true, I hadn't thought about that, because I always just feel like, oh, I've got to be wearing something really high-waisted. But yeah, like I've just got the white tank that I had on underneath, and then that would be fine, wouldn't it? Doesn't, yeah. Oh, I might start wearing these more, because I have a couple of tops that I do feel a bit like, oh, that could be just unprofessional, you know, I don't want to be showing my stomach to the students. They don't want to see it, and I don't want them seeing it, so yeah. So, but yeah, if I just had a top on underneath, that would be fine, which would be a bit of an issue in summer, but in winter I'd actually be quite happy to have the extra layer, although our classrooms can be a bit overheated. Anyway, rambling. So yes, this is my more recent faux from the vault from a maybe I think 2 years ago. I made this 2 years ago, and my mum, I saw my mum the other day, and she gave me a faux from the vault that I made when I think when I was around 15, so 35 years ago. And this is something that I made for her. So I've always been pretty ambitious with knitting. I was just like, well, I see something and I think, well, I can follow directions. That doesn't mean I followed everything correctly or did the best job, but this is my faux from the vault. I made this for my mum when I think I was 14 or 15. So it's been worn and washed a lot. So that neckline is starting to flare out a little bit, but yeah, so it was actually in Tarja, and which it was in Tarja. It wasn't like it was feral and I modified it. It was actually in Tarja, and I didn't know, I mean, I was obviously fine picking up stitches. Like I was able to pick up the stitches. This is, I'm almost positive it's 100% cotton yarn. So it was a Kleck Heaton pattern. I couldn't even find it on Ravelry, and I don't think I still have it, or I probably do somewhere, but anyway, so I'll show you you've got to look at this seaming. I had no idea what mattress stitch was, so I just whip stitched the sides together. It's embarrassing, but it's funny though, right? Because I had no idea. I didn't even know mattress stitch existed, and there was no YouTube or anything. And yeah, I don't know why. My mum didn't know, or I was a present for her, so I obviously couldn't show her or ask her. Yeah, I think it was either a birthday present or a Mother's Day present or something. And so the inside you can see is just in Tarja. And yeah. Anyway, so she's looked after it and worn it proudly. My daughter made this. So yeah, that just made me feel really special that she's kept it and looked after it for over 35 years. So yeah, that's my old faux from the vault. So let me see. That's it for my sort of my, you know, current faux, whips and faux from the vault. So the next thing is purchases. So just very quickly, I bought the Felix pullover pattern, which you would have already seen. So I bought that pattern. oh, I bought this yarn from Skein, because I taught on Saturday, so I'll get into that when I talk about my week. But I bought this yarn from Skein Sisters. It's a fingering weight yarn, so it's their house yarn, Fabulous Sock. They've got a lady who dyes for them in the colorway As You Wish. And that will be a Ranunculus, not a Ranunculus, I keep saying that, a Musselburgh. It'll be a Musselburgh hat. That will be my next one after I finish, and I'll make that a one color hat, I think, just because there's some variation in color, it's sort of pinks and greens and things. I think there's enough going on there that I'll just do a one color Musselburgh for that. And the last thing that I bought was I bought an extra ball of this Kremke Sol Wool Silky Kid, because I had, this is from my first Ranunculus from episode 1, and I had 800 meters of the Juno Fibre Arts yarn and 600 meters of this. So I've got like 300 meters of the Juno Fibre Arts left and only 100 meters of this. And I think I still would like to make something with those two together, whether it's a hat and mitts or something. Not that I'd wear them with the Ranunculus, but I think it would make a good combo. So I thought, well, I may as well make this one up to 800 meters so I have the same amount of the two left, and maybe make another beanie like I made for me, or something like that. Anyway, so I bought one more skein of that while I was there. So that's it for my purchases. And the next section is upcoming plans. But I've just got an appointment I have to get to, so I will pause and come back. So you'll probably see it looks a little bit darker when I record the last little bit of this episode. Okay, I'm going to try and get the rest of my recording in before it gets too dark. So I'm up to my plans. So I'm definitely going to make a sorrel. I might even cast that on this week. So these are the yarns that I'm going to use. Oops, some of the yarns that I'm going to use for my sorrel, my pink sorrel. That pattern is just so pretty. So yes, that's almost certainly going to get cast on this week. And I haven't finished the yoke of my first Felix pullover, but that's such a quick knit, and I think I'm going to do one in these yarns here. So almost certainly going to do that, but I'll wait till I finish the other one before I cast that on. But that's a definite. I want to make the skimmer socks, but I'll finish the yarn. I'll finish the socks for Mia, the sport weight socks, before I start the skimmer socks. I'm going to cast on the mitts for Mia now that I've finished the hat. I'll start the fingerless gloves for her, similar to the green ones. I'll pretty much make that same pattern. This seems like a little bit lighter yarn than the Volmise. So the black hat was a bit smaller than the green one, so I might just cast on a few extra stitches, but otherwise same kind of pattern. I also want to make the purple Ranunculus. Purple Ranunculus. The only thing I'm a little bit unsure about, sorry, I shouldn't be off camera. Actually, I'll show you that scarf that Mia was making. And it was such I feel a bit bad about that. So it was just not working. Like, it wasn't horrible, but that was going to be so much work in a garter stitch scarf. If you're going to make a garter stitch scarf, you just want to use something that's like, 20 ply wool, like a really big bulky wool. That was going to take all winter or longer. So anyway, I'm glad she stopped knitting on that. So that was some Madelinetosh DK twist, and then the Labyrinth. So I've just pinched that back so I can finish the Felix pullover. But I'm just looking for that purple yarn for the Ranunculus, if I can find it. I'll put a picture of it up. I'm sort of second guessing it a little bit, only because I'm not sure that I want a purple short sleeve top in such a heavyweight yarn. I don't know. Like, it would be a quick knit. I think I'd wear it. I think my concern is, would I wear it? And I don't want to make something just because that yarn works for that pattern and I have enough of it. Well, yes, but do I actually want to wear it? So that's where I'm a little bit uncertain. I wish I had it handy. I'm going to pause and find it. Okay, found it. So it's the Barocco Remix in this purple colorway. Look, I'll probably end up making it, but I'm a little bit unsure if I'll wear it. But maybe Mia might like that color. She might wear it. Anyway, that's one of my upcoming plans. Obviously, I have to finish the orange Ranunculus before I start that one. I still want to make the camisole number 2 out of the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in that raspberry pink colorway. But you know, with the sort of gauge concerns I have, I'm not in a hurry to start that. I'm still thinking about the Cozy Classic Light by Jessie Made Designs, but I don't have the yarn for it, so I'm certainly, you know, I'd have to either buy yarn or take a look at my stash to see what kind of color sweater I'd want. And the other thing was the Moonset Tee by Ozetta in the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. Still thinking about that one. I was actually just watching, what's her name? I'll spit it out in a second. Sorry, there's lots of noise going on. Toilets flushing, washing happening. So I'm going to try and wrap this up as quickly as I can because people are sort of coming home and making noises and things. Yeah, so I'm just not 100% sure. I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. Come back. Yeah, the Moonset Tee. Oh yes, that's right. I was saying there was a podcaster that I was just watching. What's her name? Leslie Friend. That's right. And she had made a sweater. This is so annoying. I feel very. I'll put a picture of it. She'd made like 3 versions of it. This really nice V-neck sweater. And that looked quite nice as well. So anyway, I've got lots of ideas percolating, but I do feel like I need to just sort of firm up. I've got plenty of things to knit at the moment. So, right, so that's kind of my plans. Oh, somebody was asking about my bullet journal. So I did say I would show it. So this is how I set up my bullet journal. I have like a week, and because I'm sort of getting into the personal stuff now, but this is sort of something that someone asked me about. I've been doing bullet journaling for about 7 years, and then the thing that I find really helpful is over here. This is my meal planning, and in the back I have all like some of our sort of standard meals that I make, and I've got more than that, but that's just the ones that I sort of have been reaching for, and then I put them in there, but I can move them around. And so that's like a week plan, and then I also have like a daily, like a month planner as well, and sort of some daily habits, things that I like to do. Yeah, and I put in all the kids stuff, their activities. Like I use my phone as well, but I do use that for upcoming stuff for the month ahead. And yeah, I love it. I do like having a physical. That is an actual bullet journal, but the pages are a little bit thick. I like my Lecterm, this one, just like a Lecterm 1917. And I use the dotted ones. And I do, like I draw them up, like I draw them all up myself. And it's quite soothing and meditative. Yeah, I like doing it. Sorry, so many noises. That's very hard for me to stay focused. Right, so I'll just talk about my week now. That's Mia coming home. Hi, honey, I'm just recording.
Yeah, I realised.
Sorry. Yep, okay. So my last podcast finished off with Alex having a car accident, and it was a small accident. Thankfully, she hit a parked car. The lady was super, super nice. We've got insurance. The excess, and she'd only had her license for 2 days. I felt so gutted for her, and the excess is $1,250. So that was really, it was a hard lesson to have, like how much cars cost and how much accidents, you know. Anyway, it's a Citron Cactus, so the car's drivable, everything's okay with the lights and stuff, everything works. One car door won't open properly, but I think they're gonna sort of manage to fix that. That's the passenger side. Anyway, so it'll be a while before they can get parts, is what I'm saying, but it's drivable in the meantime. And then the other thing that happened the day afterwards, she got a parking fine for $120 because I think it was a rear to curb and she parked front in. I just think, what bad luck. Like, you know, anyway, she was just, and then she was so upset. She's like, I don't even know what I did wrong. So, and I just felt so upset for her. And that's really hard as a parent because you're like how to be empathetic for them and loving, but for it not to bring you down too much. So to sort of stay upbeat and encouraging. So yeah, anyway, it was a bit of a rough couple of days there. Then on Saturday, I taught knitting at the yarn shop, which was really, really good. I did a finishing class in the morning and then a knit your first beanie in the afternoon. And they were both full, so they had 6 students in each class. So it was really busy. And then we had 2 students in the Knit Your First Beanie class who had never knit at all. So, but we made it work, and everyone was really encouraging, and they were really good sports and just giving it a go. So yeah, it's just really important that you can sort of think on your feet with classes to go, okay, either somebody didn't bring their homework, or although that didn't happen today, but sometimes it does. And then you're like, okay, I've got some swatches, you can use my swatch if you didn't. So it is important to be prepared, is what I'm saying. But after that, like 2 3-hour classes, I was exhausted by the end. So I just came home and had Indian and relaxed, which was nice. Sunday I went to church with my mum, and it was a really good sermon, but one thing that I got quite emotional about was one of the songs that was in my dad's funeral. Rock of Ages was one of the songs that we sang, so that was but it was really good that my mum was there with me, so I was able to give her a hug and just be like, we're here for each other. So that was good. Tuesday, Zach did a performance at school where he was singing, which he was so brave, and he was just so charismatic. It was really, really lovely watching him. So they sang, I think, Walk This Way, so it was a lot of rapping and stuff, and then some other song I didn't even recognize, but yeah, it was fun watching him. And then last night was my big presentation to the maths teachers on Zoom, and that was a 2.5-hour Zoom where I think I had like a 3-minute break to go to the toilet. I was just talk, and on Zoom everyone had their cameras off, and that's hard. It's hard when you're not getting any feedback from people. There's a little bit in the chat, but not a lot. But I think it went well. I should be getting my feedback soon. But I just had a few hiccups with PowerPoint in the beginning that kind of unsettled me, and we made it work. But I can be so hard on myself. At the end of it, I was just like, oh, I wish I'd done that and this, and next time will be better, and which is good. That's the positive. Okay, next time will be better. But it's hard for me not to be too hard on myself. So, and remember to treat myself the same way that I would treat someone else, and speak to myself the way I would speak to someone else, and not berate myself anyway. So it was good, and they've already asked me to do it again next year, so I can't have been that bad. Either that or they haven't got the feedback yet. But yeah, it went well, but now I feel like all the things that I kind of had been sort of putting off are like, okay, I've got to do that now, and I've got to do that now. So yeah, so and some good things too, some of the knitting things, I'll be able to do the recording for the Ranunculus and get that finished, and yeah, and some work stuff, do some marking of some exams and things. So yeah, so that's my week gone, my one coming up. School, I've got cards tonight online with our friends, which will be fun. And tomorrow night, my school has instead of a fete, we've got a twilight evening, which is actually really lovely. We've got the maths rooms have all the rooms have sort of a setup and everything, and there's food trucks, and it's a nice event. So that's Friday night. On Saturday morning, I'm going to go for a walk with my friend Amy, just at our local bushwalk, where we sort of, took us a while to find the start of the trail last time. This time we'll sort of start in the right spot and maybe hopefully have a good walk. Amy's recovering from her 3rd bout of COVID, so I'm not sure if we'll walk. If she's feeling well, we will. If not, we might just have brunch, and that will be just fine. If we just sit and have coffee and eat, it's just about catching up. So whether we walk or whether we eat, that's all good. But it'll be one or the other, and I think it's meant to be good weather. And then the other thing that's coming up is my husband is leaving for the US on Wednesday. So there'll be a bit of kind of getting stuff together, and it will be just me with pickups and drop-offs for, just Zach, he's the only one. Thankfully, even though Alex's car got hit, or she hit someone, anyway, even though there was damage, it's still totally drivable. So she's still mobile, which I was a bit worried. I thought, oh, if she's not mobile and my husband's gone, it's going to be all on me. So it's actually worked out quite well. There's a bit of lead time for getting parts. So Yeah, oh, and we're getting a bathroom renovated, so next week, I think next Friday, so probably it won't be till after I record the next time, but the builder's going to come out and do a bit of assessing, so it's leaking. So another one, like we just fixed the other bathroom a year ago, and now this bathroom's leaking, and it's actually leaked so much that some of the plywood, whatever the thing is underneath the carpet, is actually rotting. Like when you step on it, you sink down. So yeah, it's really got to be fixed. So that's upcoming, very exciting. Not really what I would have planned, but it'll be nice to have a new bathroom, and we do have a little bit of savings for it. So yeah, anyway, oh, and I suppose I should, just one last thing, the health update. You know, I had all my health checks, and so I knew it wasn't going to be cancer or nothing bad, but it doesn't look like I'm allergic to any foods either, but there might just be some intolerances, so I probably, anyway, it's not really high on my radar at the moment. I'm feeling well. I got checked out for there's no cancer, no big nasties, so yay, which is good. And I do have some nice stuff coming up. I've got 4 more weeks of school and then the school holidays, and yeah, nice plans there. But anyway, that's still a little while away off. I've got a few more recordings before then. So episode 20 next week, there will definitely be my second Ranunculus. That was my first episode 1, my first Ranunculus, and episode 20 will be my second one. And then I might even finish that one and cast on another one. May as well, right? Always have one on the needles. Oh, and I forgot to say, I am going to make a new, I already mentioned it before in my purchases, but I'm going to start a new Musselburgh on that one when I finish my other one. Anyway, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'm sure I've forgotten something, but I'll be recording next week, so I'll just pick it up then. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.